Hey everybody. There's just a few things I want to chat about today. So welcome back. Welcome back to the humble abode of McRaj. Well, since this is already up, let's just talk about this headline. The headline is that Kiev was targeted with the most powerful attack since spring, but the part I wanted to talk to you about is that there was an airport in Russia near the Estonian border that went up in flames. And people were saying that they believed the drones came from Estonia, which would have been a huge deal because Estonia is a member of NATO. However, this article and most of the articles I'm seeing now, Ukraine is taking responsibility for the attacks. So it's still just Ukraine versus Russia for now, unless they find evidence that it really was Estonian drones that did the attack, because it's very close to Estonia, and it's 700 kilometers or more than 400 miles from Ukraine. So those drones must have a very, very long range. And I do know that they make some attack drones with ranges of, I think, 1,000 kilometers. So, I mean, that's still not enough for a return journey. So, I don't know, that a 1,400 kilometer range drone that can fly 700 kilometers, attack an airport, and then fly back. That's pretty advanced. Anyway, that's supposedly what happened. Everybody's freaking out thinking World War III was really going to start because they thought it was being blamed on Estonia, but I guess not yet. Yet another variant of the Koof, Pirola. And that is an anagram for Oi! LARP. Oi! It's a LARP. It's a live action role playing game. See? Oi! LARP. Anyway. I know, that's silly. But, you know, the headlines about that thing are silly too. Another thing I wanted to throw out there that I thought was weird, and I'm sure some of you already heard, there was contaminated fuel showed up at the port of Tampa just before this hurricane came through. What is it called? Idalia? So that's odd, that's all I'm saying. I mean, this would have made headlines even if it were out in the middle of, nowhere, in the middle of the Southwest, the middle of the Midwest. This would have made headlines if there was contaminated fuel over a large area, and it just so happened to come like a day before a hurricane hit. It's almost like someone's trying to cause more chaos. If there were a whole bunch of cars broken down on the side of the road because they had diesel fuel in a traditional gas engine, that would have been horrible for those people trying to get out of there, and also it would have been, it would have blocked the roads. So this on the tail of, numerous accounts of people saying that they were trying to escape the Maui fires, the Lahaina fires, and they actually were blockaded in. There were police blockades telling the people, oh, you can't go through here. And so the people were basically just going around and around in circles, unable to escape. And just you can look it up for more info. There are a lot of tweets, or what do we call tweets now since it's X? X posts? That sounds really stupid. We should just keep calling them tweets. I don't know. Whatever. X posts. X its. Is that what we should call tweets now? X boxes. X marks the spots. I don't know. Anyway, it's just weird. And it's kind of the similar thing. Contaminated gas right before a hurricane. Of course, we didn't see any big fires, at least not that I know of, with this Idalia. Just a bit of flooding, lots of heavy winds, rain. But then, many people did die in these Maui fires, and some would have been able to get out, but they were blockaded in. So, weird. In Gabon, I never know how to pronounce that. Gabon, I'm going to go with Gabon. There has been a military coup. They canceled the elections and seized power. So that's, not a huge country, but there's been a lot of civil wars in African countries for centuries. There's been these smaller African countries have gone through civil wars and coups. This, happening not too long after, I guess they're calling what happened in Niger a coup as well. And that's looking to pop off still. If you're one of the people who came to this channel because of those weird little abbreviation things that I was doing, the like SMH, that one's the only one that actually got any traction. I started a separate channel for those. You can find that in my the recommended other channels. It's called Abbreviation Book. It's silly. It doesn't belong on this channel, I don't think. So if you're so I don't think the people who came here for those are really watching any of these videos, but I could be wrong. So I think what I'm trying to say is that the direction that this channel is going to go is more along the lines of this stuff. Just topics and headlines that mainstream news isn't going to really be talking about a whole lot. And, just thinking outside the box, ideas, ways to get debt free, ways to save money, ways to not go with the flow. And I will do coin videos from time to time, but I think there's just so many other full-time dedicated stacking and coin collecting channels out there that won't be my focus so much. I have more videos than I have subscribers right now, and in one sense it's a little frustrating, but on the other hand, I've been here before. I started a blog 13 years ago, and a lot of people made it pretty clear that they didn't believe it was going to go anywhere, and they kind of made fun of me. They told me they didn't like my ideas and stuff, and anyway, long story short, that blog still exists and still makes me money. And the naysayers are always going to be there. I think it was Peter Santinella who just said, anytime you're starting a YouTube channel, when you need the support, you're not going to have it. And then once you're on the other side of it, you don't need the support, but you do have it. And not that I'm trying to get, I don't really see this channel blowing up, certainly not like anybody really big, but I want to stick with it for now just to see where it can go. I'm hopefully going to be stepping up the quality of everything. I know the quality of this video right now, the audio is probably okay because of the studio mic, but the camera is a little outdated. I do have better quality camera, but when I'm doing this kind of news roundup thing, it's much easier to use the webcam on this old Mac laptop. But I think the world needs more attention drawn to these kind of alternative headlines. You're seeing people talk about these things on conspiracy boards. You're seeing people talk about them maybe on a Reddit thread here and there. For the most part, the people who camp out, watch CNN, they don't know about these alternative headlines. They don't really know what's going on in the world. And if the people who really do some digging and watch, outside the box news sources, they see the world as teetering on the brink of a massive collapse, and everybody else thinks everything's totally normal. And I think they're dead wrong. So, and I realize there are other people out there sharing, there's people with economic specialties telling you that the economy is going to collapse. Granted, they've been saying it for years, and in theory, they're right. all the indicators, all the actual indicators are screaming that we're on the verge of a collapse. Anyone who's following politics and the Ukraine war and what's going on with China and everything going on in West Africa, the things going on with North Korea, that it's miraculous that we haven't seen something pop off just yet. And then if you study things like the fourth turning, I am still reading, the fourth turning is here, and sometime between now and 2030, we're gonna see something on par with the American Revolution, the American Civil War, World War II. It's gonna be that momentous. And the population of this country and the population of the world has only increased. Our technology has only increased. So I can't imagine that the climax of the crisis isn't going to be much bigger than those previous three seculae. Those previous 80-year periods. So this is just going to be a channel looking at all those things. It's going to be looking at the way our generations, the seculums, the seculae, are culminating into the climax of the crisis. We're going to look at politics. We're going to look at the wars. We're going to look at the economy. And we're going to watch the world collapse together and hopefully do some practical things to soften the blow and to maybe wake some other people up. Maybe... to just point people in a direction other than all the lemmings that are going to be falling off the cliff. And so in that sense, what I'm trying to say is that if this channel gets through to just a couple of people, if it wakes people up, makes them raise an eyebrow, if I give one tidbit of information every week to someone who wouldn't have otherwise known, then that's what this is for. That's what this channel is for, is going to be just all the things that stand out to me with all the alternative media that I scour every day and every week. I'm going to bring some of the most poignant topics to this channel. That's what this is for. So if my subscribers don't grow, so be it. If I never make it to, and I have another YouTube channel that is upwards of 500 subs, and I could be using it to kind of promote this channel, but I think there'd be very, very little overlap between that channel and this channel. So anyway, I'm just kind of rambling. If anybody's still with me, thanks for hanging in till the end. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, I'd appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up. Again, not trying to become a successful YouTube channel necessarily. I'm just throwing out information. I'm going to try and be one of the many voices in the wilderness, letting people know that this world is not what the mainstream media is telling you. In fact, it is quite the opposite. Things are not under control. Things are about to get crazy. I don't know whether that's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know whether it's going to happen next week, next month, next year, but sometime in this decade, I believe things are gonna go cray-cray in this world. So I guess I will be signing off now. Take care. I need like a fun signature sign off, like, stay safe out there in Clown World.